words. Human life is more than just what we can express in words. Words are a very poor way of expressing what is bubbling, boiling, steaming, growing in us. And poetry, for example, or novellas, or novels, or short stories, or movies, they help us to come to terms with the ineffable. The apophatic is a next level, that's sort of the divine. That's what mystics experience. I just leave that aside, but it's important as well that that's what the humanities do. We're reaching out deep into the soil, and we try to understand what is happening, although it's very murky. It's just like geologists digging around in the seafloor trying to find oil. They don't know. They have mists, you know. It's the same thing. We do the same thing in this regard. We're working with communication. We're trying to develop forms of mutual respect. We try to understand what our history is, because history gives us identity. And then finally, we need mutual support and mutual respect. Well, it's almost the same terms. And if you want to, if you will, friendship or other forms of human bonding. Without that, we become isolated and then are ready and willing to kill the other. So we're talking about humanities. Okay, so yeah, you're telling me my time is pretty much up. I'm sorry, talking too much. But humanity is also talking about the basic family structure. Okay, so let me move forward a little bit faster and emphasize at least a couple of more points, and I just will break off myself. What the humanities also do, and have always done throughout times, is exploring ethics. But what are ethics? Ethics basically means you understand what, let me stay there. Ethics means basically you understand what is right and wrong. But let's say a baby is born, and you teach the baby from day one, there's a baby brother, stab your brother, kill it, take away its food, hurt it. What will your baby learn? It's all good. What I'm trying to say, we are not born with ethics. That's something we all have to teach. And we have to teach that every day, to every generation, to every person in this world. We are not born with ethics. The humanities does that. We're exploring texts where examples of missing or blooming forms of ethics exist. That is one of the shortcomings of human existence. We don't have ethics. We need to acquire ethics. And that, frankly, I'm afraid to say, is a lifelong learning process. How many times have I, in just the last few weeks, done something wrong, you know? Everyone is liable. We do this all the time. We hide, we lie, we try to make our way through a difficult world, and so forth. It's a learning process, how to live up to the truth, how to stand up to what is right and wrong, and so forth. So what I could do now for the next hour, I won't do that. I will just simply maybe leave you with one writer, and then we can start with a question and answers if you want to. I just want at least to refer you to, in my estimation, the most important philosopher. So Boethius. So that's not a writer, not a poet, it's a philosopher. But I like to incorporate philosophy into humanities. And I like Boethius as a bedrock of all of humanities, because he wrote, in my estimation, the most important text ever written, because in his Consolation of Philosophy, written in prison, a few months before he was killed, he was stoned to death, allegedly for state treason. He was not called Findman, he was called Boethius. But anyway, if you don't, anyway. It's a political joke, anyway. So, and he tries to ask in this text, what is true happiness? Why am I so mistreated? Why do I have to suffer? And then he asks further, what is misfortune? Or more, what is fortune? and he comes up with an absolutely stunningly logical, scientifically convincing argument telling us that fortune is defined by contingency, meaning that there is no stability, there's constant vagaries. Life is fortune. Life is no guarantee. No one has this guarantee. And life is determined by this fortune or misfortune, but misfortune is a good experience because it's the only tool that takes us to truth. We find truth through misfortune. We find our true friends through misfortune. We learn to discriminate between contingency and the freedom from contingency. And these are profound ideas. They teach us how to understand human existence in a very tricky way, but it frees us from this dependency on power, material goods, sex, if you will, food, if you will. Doesn't dismiss it, but says these are things that are all dependent on contingency. We cannot rely on them. We have no guarantee on them. And Boethius then reaches a conclusion that's too complex to summarize quickly, but basically there is an ultimate goal that is good. He calls it the summum bonum, the highest good. That's where complete happiness rests, because that highest good is free from contingency, meaning not dependent on anything. Whether you call it God or the highest good, doesn't matter, in a Neoplatonic way. And he can explain to us in this text how to overcome the material imprisonment we are suffering from and how we can reach out to larger issues. This fits into the humanities because Boethius was influential from 525 until, well, today. You would not find any major writer throughout the ages, at least in the European Western world, who would not have been influenced deeply by Boethius. Boethius was the schoolmaster of the entire West. Everyone in his basic studies studied Boethius. So, but I better come to an end before everyone leaves. I understand completely, you have to go to your classes, but I better say my last word now. So you hopefully can see that what I'm trying to argue is that we need to reach out to all sides. We need to find our own metaphors. We need to understand that humanities are just as valuable, if not even more valuable than the science. Nothing wrong with science, but the science will never tell me anything about my soul. Will never tell me anything about my love, my feelings, my fears. So we have an important portion to contribute to human existence. And that's what we can do as humanities. We should not be ashamed of what we do. We should come forward. We can refer to thousands of writers, philosophers, poets, dramatists, movie makers, whatever, and say they have given us material to think more deeply about human existence. And without those ideas, we do not live. But we want to live. And the humanities give us life. And that's why we need the humanities. I think I just end at this point. Thank you so much. I understand, you have to go. Don't worry. Thank you. Yeah, that's perfectly all right. You're students. You should go. No, stay if you can. But I understand completely. You have to go to your classes. Any questions?
I have more of a comment because your talk reminded me of a lecture that I went to. It was a keynote lecture at a literary conference about a professor from Johns Hopkins who teaches literature and other humanities to the med students. And he was talking about the value of the humanities for scientists and particularly medical students. So he mentioned being better writers, having more empathy